Hey, Yinz guys and gals, gather around for a journey like no other. It's time to hop on board the Yinz Goin podcast. From the rivers that meet at the point to form downtown Pittsburgh, to the sheer face of Half Dome, to the furthest corners of the globe, Matt will be your compass, your confidant, your companion as we explore the wonders of travel. So sit back, relax on your couch, and let the wanderlust whoosh over Yinz as we discover new horizons and reminisce about old favorites. With Matt by our side, the sky's the limit. Join Matt on the Yinz Goin podcast because when it comes to travel, the journey's just getting started. And now, without further ado, let's give a shot for your guide through the highways and byways of travel. Your planning partner, the man with the map, Matt Schraeder. Hi, Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Going podcast. I'm Matt. I'm your host. Joining me today is a newcomer to the podcast, Cayce. So welcome, Cayce. It's good to talk to you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here to talk about some of my favorite things.
So with Disney vacations, and this is whether you go to Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, Disneyland Resort out in California, go on a cruise with the Disney Cruise Line, go to Alani, a Disney resort and spa in Ko'olina, Hawaii. Thanks to our friend Maureen for introducing us to that uh, verbiage. There's Adventures by Disney. There's so many other places that Disney has different resorts and different places you can go. They're often associated with some type of special magic. And that magic could be a special moment with a loved one. It could be an experience on an attraction or during a show. It could be something you recognize or that you see happen to another guest at the parks, or it could be getting what we call pixie dusted, which is whenever a cast member gives you a special perk or gives you special recognition, something along those lines. So, Casey, you got a couple things you want to talk about. Which magical experiences are on your list?
Oh yeah. And one reason why I love Disney so much is because they really make a point to make it magical. And I feel like they don't have to, but they do, and it just makes everyone's experience so much better and you leave feeling your heart so full. Um, so the first experience that I want to talk about, we went to Hollywood Studios last January and I dressed the kids up as my son was Woody and my daughter was Bo Peep, and we got on Toy Story Mania, and they looked adorable, of course, but the cast members they like it when you dress up or you get in character, and so we were just having a good time pretending to be, Woody and Bo Peep. And after we got off of Toy Story Mania, they said, "Woody, Bo Peep, you look so great. Would you like to go again?" And we were like, "Of course." So that's one of the smaller instances of pixie dust that's still really fun, because you wait in the line, and then if you get to go twice you're like, of course I want to go again. And we just went to Disney in December, and the same thing happened again. We did Star Tours at Hollywood Studios, and once we got off the attraction, um, the cast members were like, "Wow, I hope you enjoyed your ride." And I said, "Well, it was a very interesting flight." And they said, "Would you like to go again?" And we're always like, "Of course." And Star Tours isn't one of the, the heavy hitter attractions, but I feel like if you really just try to interact with the cast members sometime, they'll do that. So that's two instances that really stand out in my mind. Another one,
And if I can add one comment there, that
yeah,
I recommend interacting with the cast members no matter what, even if
right.
it's not trying to get a perk or anything.
Yes.
Some of them
Yep.
are, and they all have their name tag with their hometown or where they're from, and the ones who speak multiple languages also have that listed. Some of them have different pins on it for different years of service, things like that. So you can tell a lot about a cast member just from that. And some of them live very, very interesting lives.
Yes, they do. We
And you
spoke to
might find some.
someone
Oh,
like
go ahead.
Well, we spoke to someone like that who he was cleaning tables, and he was an older gentleman, and we just struck up a conversation with him for about 10, 15 minutes, and he told us about all these famous people that he met, all these wonderful things that he did. They're people just like us, They love to talk, so we always try to talk to them when we can.
even if they don't give you a perk, they sometimes will
Yeah,
give you tips of, oh, you know, have you tried this restaurant and tried this thing there? It's my favorite. Or, oh, whenever you get on, Tower of Terror, make sure you go into the left-hand lane, or whenever you get down to go on into the elevators, because it usually goes faster. Or little tips like that that can make your trip just a little bit more magical that way too.
certainly. Yeah.
And we had a similar experience. Well, one, I think when you said last year, so that would have been 2025 in
Yeah.
January. What type of when in January was that? Was it early or later?
I
Do you
think
remember?
it was maybe later in the month. It
Okay,
wasn't
because
beginning.
we must have just missed you because we were there a little bit earlier in January
Hmm.
last year, and we
Yeah.
went just this past January too. And we did not get to ride things twice in a row. But you mentioned about Star Tours. There was like a 5 minute wait. We went on that
Hmm.
ride. We went on there like 10 times that day. We
Yeah.
just kept getting off. It's like, it's 5 minutes again. Let's do it.
That one's fun.
My daughter wanted to be the rebel spy. My wife
Okay.
got to be the rebel spy. My daughter was like, I want to do it. It's like she had been the rebel spy before, and I've been it before, but my wife got it on this trip. So my daughter was like, I want to do it again and be the rebel spy.
That's funny you say that because my daughter Georgia, she got chosen to be the spy last year in January, and then last year in December, she was the rebel spy. But the second time they chose another little girl to do it. But she was kind of like, "Why am I on the screen, Mom?" Like it's
We've gotten
okay.
yeah, we've gotten the ride twice in a row too. This was on Cosmic Rewind. So
Oh
Guardians of the
God,
Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot. That
love that.
my daughter was like a hair tall enough to get on the ride. Like
Mm-hmm.
they measured her and like they were looking like they her barely touched her head, and so they let her on it. And this was kind of late at night that it was right around park closing that we were on it, and we get done and we get off, and the cast member says to our group that's in the on the car, she says, all right, would anyone like to ride again? And I was like, my jaw just dropped. I was like, I could not say yes fast enough. And my
Yes.
wife was like, I don't know. We'd have to wait in line again, and it's late. And our daughter usually goes to bed around 9 o'clock. She's like, it's way past her bed. It's like, no, no, you don't understand what she's asking or what
Yeah.
she's telling us. No waiting in line. So we have to
Yes.
go just this little back area, walk around, and went
Hmm.
right on again.
I love that. And that one is amazing. One of my favorites. It's just life
Oh yeah,
changing. And some people say it makes them nauseous. I thought it would make me, but it didn't. And I would ride it over and over. It's just so cool. Uh,
yeah. I think the spinning actually enhances the ride. That it's done so well that it puts like the G forces at your back, so it's not just like a random spinning thing or whatever. That I think it puts you in the right position to see things and whatever else.
Mhm.
And you go around a turn, and instead of getting pulled to the side, it spins, so you get just pulled back. So it's a
Right.
very smooth ride. It's
Definitely.
either it's either one or two for me. It's either that or Rise of the Resistance. But I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so that kind of
I
plays into
I
it.
love Rise too, but I think Guardians is the best for me. Just the whole overall experience. So, but Rise is wonderful as well. And I do have a couple more pixie dust things to talk about.
Yeah,
Um
let's jump into those.
yeah, so this one is probably my favorite, and it happened in December when we were staying at Caribbean Beach. We had been, I keep talking about Hollywood Studios. That seems to be it is our favorite, one of our favorite parks. And we were coming back from Hollywood Studios and we were going to eat dinner at the resort, and cast members were in the lobby and they had Christmas cards. They were sent letters to Santa. They were letting the kids write letters to Santa, and they had coloring pages too. And I was like, "Oh, this is great," because I forgot to have the kids write letters, and this was probably December 14th. That's the time we were there. So, my son wrote a letter. My daughter, we wrote one for her. She's 4. And then my niece wrote a letter. She just turned 10. So we delivered our letters in the mailbox, right there in front of the cast members. And the cast member said, we'll make sure that they get to Santa. So I'm like, this is great. Okay. Check that off the holiday Christmas to-do list. And the next day we went to Magic Kingdom, and when we came back, not only was our room cleaned up beautifully, you know how they do such a good job, just like making everything look great and straightening it up and setting all the stuffies together, and they had all of our Mickey ears decorated. But there was a bag on the counter in our hotel room, and it had some goodies in it for my niece. Santa, I need to find the picture on my phone right now. I forgot to look at that a second ago. Um, Santa got her letter and delivered her some goodies straight to our resort. And here's what it said. It says, Jillian, Santa got your letter requesting Stitch items. However, he could not make it to Disney in time to grab them. So he asked us to help him get the items to you. Happy holidays from your friends at Caribbean Beach. And I know our friends on the podcast can't see, but this is a picture of her holding the letter. And then it was like a bag of Stitch and candy, Stitch cup, all kinds of cool things. She loves Stitch. And it was her very first trip to Disney. And it was just so magical to come back to the room and know that, Santa had gotten her letter and that she'd got some wonderful things delivered. And it was on the way home, I almost cried thinking about it, just how magical that must have been, to get something at Disney from Santa. So that was my favorite thing that has ever happened to me. Um, Even though it
N-
didn't happen personally to me.
Oh yeah, did she have her first visit button on whenever she did the Santa stuff?
Yes,
And that is
probably.
one thing. On your first visit, get
Mm-hmm.
your first visit button.
Oh, yes.
Definitely. Because you can get some of this little magic. And even if it's not your first visit, get the button anyway. No, no, don't save that for people. They have other buttons that are the I'm celebrating or it's my
Yep.
birthday ones. There's the happily ever after ones if you're, you just got married or engaged or an anniversary or whatever. So they have, I always get an I'm celebrating for something. Um,
Yeah.
this past January when we were there, we were staying at the Saratoga Springs. So I'm a DVC member, and that's my home resort.
Okay.
And we got there a little bit early. It was maybe around two, maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock, something along those lines. And check-in's not till 4. But the gentleman at the we always go and check in person. Don't do the
Yes.
online one. Always
Yes.
do it in person, whether you're early, whether you're late, whatever. Because if you're going to get like an upgrade or something, checking it in person is when they're going to do it
Yep.
for you.
They will not do it online. That's what I tell my clients.
But we were it while he because he's like, oh, there's nothing available. Let me check this, and he went the extra mile for us. But then my daughter was talking to him for a bit, and of course she's 6. She said, oh yeah, it's our first visit. Like,
Yes.
no, it's not. You've been here a couple times. For my badge, but he made buttons for all of us for something because it was my wife's birthday yet, and my daughter got one too. But he wrote first visit this year.
This
It's
year.
like
Well,
January
I
4th
mean,
for checking in. It's like, oh, of course.
it's true.
It was true, but it's kind of obvious. But hey, whatever worked. I got
Yeah.
my button. I was happy.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, um, I love how that they treated us there. Everything was wonderful. And yeah, we always get the buttons too. And I feel like we were treated special the whole trip. And we ate at Chef Mickey's, and our waiter brought us a huge to-go plate of desserts that wasn't even on the buffet because it was her first visit and he wanted to make it magical. So that was really nice. We took Disney home with us the next day. We were eating desserts on the way home because we couldn't eat them all there. We were like, we just stuffed ourselves. We got to take this with us.
The gift
But
that keeps
also,
on giving.
yeah, it was good
Oh,
too. Some yummy
yeah, I
cheese.
know. As Casey said, Casey showed the picture of her niece. She was smiling from ear to ear. And I don't know. So whenever you look up the definition of happy in the dictionary, you see the picture of your niece.
Yeah, Jillian. She really the whole trip, her smile was like that. But when she got that bag from Santa, it was, that smile was not moving. It made my whole trip. And all of us, my dad, grandpa, my dad took the grandkids, so and I was the travel guide, because he hasn't been since 2014. So he's like, "Yeah, we all got to go and you're going to plan it." I'm like, "Oh, I got this." But seeing her face, it was amazing. And I have so many pictures of her smiling that big. And that's what you want everyone's experience to be when they go the first time. That's the epitome, just the joy of being there. And she did not want to leave. She said, "Can we stay longer?" I said, "That's how I feel every time. Like, I don't want to leave." Um, so, but going back to what you said about the resort, my aunt, she was pixie dusted. She checked into Art of Animation. She had a Little Mermaid standard room, and she was pixie dusted a car suite. So, yes, definitely always check in, talk to the people at the resort. They're wonderful anyway. I like talking to them, but yeah, so that if you do the online check-in and you just check in with your phone, I mean, you can do that for convenience reasons, but I'm always going to talk to a person, like you said. So that's definitely good advice.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you said about having the Disney blues after the trip, or
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're even leaving. The surefire way to cure that is to book another trip.
100%. Get your countdown on.
Exactly. And that's, well, with the DVC, you can book up to 11 months out. And we got back uh, January 10th, and our next trip is planned for mid-December of next year. So it's like, oh, 3 days. Like, I got to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. I booked our bounce back already. So, but I might change it depending on plans, but I know we're going sometime. And the deals this summer are so great. I might have to do that. So, I'm still figuring that part out. But yes, there's just something about it. Disney's so amazing. Um, I wish I lived there sometimes, but then it might not be as magical, but it probably still would.
It's one of my friends and guy who's been on the podcast here a couple times, Dewey. He just moved down there and he has his annual pass. And
Oh,
um, I'd never met him in person. We'd known each other through online stuff for 7 years or whatever. And he knew we were going down. He's like, "All right, so what day you're going to be in here and whatever?" And I said, "Okay, well, Monday we're going to be in Epcot, and that's his favorite park." And I said, "We could meet then." He's like, "Don't gotta twist my arm. I get off work at this time. I'll be there in a half hour afterwards." And
mm,
it's like, yeah, that's got to be the life. I'm done with
yeah.
work. What should I do this evening? Let's go to Epcot.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Living the dream. But just being able to go once a year, I just feel blessed, and being able to help other people plan their vacations, I feel blessed to do that too. So being a part of it is just important to me. Um, I don't think I'll ever be able to live down there, at least right now, but you can dream about it.
That's my retirement plan. I'll be a cast member.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is it really?
I want to be one of the, well, there's a couple things that I could definitely do, but I could definitely see myself being the Jungle Cruise skipper,
Okay. Yes. Okay.
driving that around telling dad jokes all day. Yep.
Yes. Great. That sounds lovely.
So, Casey, thank you so much for joining us. How can people get a hold of you if they want to book a trip or have any questions or anything else?
My email is Casey at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. And you can find me on Facebook as well, Dreams by Design Travel with Casey. I'd love to hear from you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Casey. I'm sure we're going to have you back to talk about more stuff in the future. This was great.
Thank you so much.
Now, we've had a few new voices on the podcast today, so I wanted to bring in someone familiar. I figured it would be appropriate to bring in the most popular guest we've ever had, but we have to settle for Amanda. Just kidding, Amanda. We love you.
I hope so, because like I keep saying, you can never get rid of me.
I'll say it's we love you or we have to suffer. So,
You
therefore,
will, you know.
so anyway, with magical experiences with Disney. You've been there just a couple of times.
Just a few.
So, which ones would you like to share today? Because I still got my a few things on my list as well.
Oh, goodness. So I actually have two from the same trip, which was probably my most favorite trip ever. So in 2011, we took my very best friend on her first trip to Disney. So I love first trips. Those are probably the best trips ever. I love
And
experiencing other people's first trips to Disney. It's just so magical.
you've talked about that on here before about that is
Yeah.
your recommendation. If you have a chance,
Yes.
go on a first trip with somebody.
Yes. So we were adults. She had never been to Disney before. My family had gone to Disney so many times, and originally it was just supposed to be her and I. And pretty last minute, my parents kind of hijacked our trip and were like, "Oh no, we're gonna have to come too," and came with us, which actually worked out because I am not a roller coaster person, and she is a very much roller coaster person, and so is my father. So they got in line for Rock and Roller Coaster over at Hollywood Studios, which sadly is going to be no more as it is in its current iteration. So they get off Rock and Roller Coaster. They're her very first time, and she was like so excited. She's like, "Oh my God, that was the best ride I've ever been on." And this cast member motions them over, and he's like, "You want to go on it again?" And she's like, "The line is 70 minutes." He goes, "Not for the two of you." He goes, "Go down that hallway, talk to my friend so and so, and you'll go on again." He got them on the front of the line again, 5 times in a row.
Well, that beats my story of going twice on Cosmic Rewind, but
Yeah.
not holy heck. So now, do they just like it was the same cast member kept doing it?
Yep. He goes, "You want to go on again? You want to go on again? You want to go on again?" And finally, my father's like, "I can't do this anymore, honey. Like, we're done now." Like, they want on it 6 times in a row. Meanwhile, my mother and I are in the gift shop, like, okay, their picture came up on the screen. Where are they? Nope, they just kept going. So that was one of the coolest experiences that she got to have for I mean, a first time because of course, we got the button. It was just so awesome that both of those cast members really were able to make that experience for her.
So,
Um,
all right, I need to make some mental notes here. One, next time, get a first visit button,
they
and
make
after every ride, yell really loudly so a cast member hears that was the best ride ever. I got down.
um,
And number two, whenever my daughter gets older, whenever she goes to Disney, I
yes,
tag along.
yes.
I'm learning things today. I like this.
And then the second thing we had from that same trip, my parents had left. They only stayed for part of the trip with us, and they ended up they ended up going home. We go to Epcot for our last night because she loved Epcot. So we decided that was our last day. We go to Epcot. It's literally the end of the night. I think the park closed at like 9 o'clock. So it's probably 8:45. And all trip we had been waiting to get on Soarin'. And this is when Soarin' was pretty much brand new. It was 2011. It was January of 2011. So we had been watching it throughout the whole trip and we were like, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Well, now it's the last night of our trip, the very last night. We go, the line is like 2 hours long. She looks at me, I look at her. She goes, "You know what? Let's go do something else. We will be back. It's fine." The cast member looks at us as we walk away and he goes, "Where are you going? The ride's over here." And she goes, "Well, the line's 2 hours long. We'd rather go, do something else and maybe do two rides before the park closes, like whatever." And he goes, "Well, come here." We look at each other. We kind of look at him and he goes, "Well, come here." And he hands us two fast pass cards back in the day of paper fast passes. He goes, "Here you go. Get on the ride. Have a magical night." And we got in the fast pass line and we're in and out in like 5 minutes. And it was the first ride on Soarin' that we'd ever taken. So cast members really do make the magic. I've had some fantastic experiences with cast members. They have the ability to do these things that just really make or break your trip sometimes. So those
Yeah.
are fun.
And that's the one really great thing is that Disney gives the cast members that
That little
ability and that
ability,
that
yeah.
leeway to do those nice little things. Um, whenever the mood hits them. I'm not sure how many
Yeah.
they get to do per day or if there's a limit or if there's any restrictions on
I
that.
don't know. So I actually saw something when we did a trip. Um, we did one of the backstage tours one time on one of the trips, and we were down in the utilidors, and they had something up on the like bulletin board that said like you have the ability to do magic moments up to like so much money or so much time, I think it was. I don't remember the exact details, but they do have something down in the cast member sections where you can do, they call them magic moments, or at the time they did. So I think that's a really important part of Disney
Yeah, and
being Disney. Like they just have that capacity to do that for their guests.
I'm sure that might change per day too, depending on how
Yeah.
crowded and other factors too. That I saw something on learned something recently, actually this morning as we're recording it, is that on your receipt when you go to Disney, take a look at it. That there's a phone number that says for returns and exchanges, or I forget the exact wording for it,
Hmm.
but if you would happen to if you purchase a souvenir and it breaks on the way home,
Yes.
you can call and they can
And they
potentially
can
replace it.
arrange.
No,
Yes.
I've known that there and heard of instances when, a kid buys a snow globe and they're so excited they take it out of the box and they're walking out of the store and on Main Street USA they drop it and it breaks and they'll replace it then. But even the on the trip home thing,
Yes.
that's what
Well,
makes Disney Disney.
it makes Disney Disney. It's a Disney difference. And I've had situations like I will tell people, especially my clients, but even beforehand, like we would always ship breakable things home because Disney has this guarantee that if something breaks, if they ship it home for you and it breaks in transit, they will replace it. And like one of our things is in the Germany pavilion in Epcot, my mother has on her Christmas tree, she has all of the glass blown bird ornaments. And for a long time, they would have different bird ornaments in Germany. So every trip she would get a new bird, and she's got probably 100 of them on her Christmas tree. So we always shipped it home because, when you're putting it in your suitcase, it's blown glass. It's very delicate. And we've had a few times where she would have to contact Disney and it would be broken when it came home, and they would just send a new one.
So here's the big question. Do you have one of the pickle ornaments on your Christmas tree?
Of course. We have multiple pickles now because my parents have one and we have one in our home now. That was the very important thing on my son's first Epcot trip is we had to pick out a pickle.
Did you
Plus it was
find
Christmas.
did
So
you find
yes.
the pickle on the tree that was in the shop?
Yes.
I think you told that story on here too about
Yeah.
Henry doing that. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah. He's had some fun ones too. We've had great experiences with him. I mean, he's just very personable to begin with. So I feel like even when we're at home, people will gravitate towards him anyway, and he's very social. So he's just at Disney, he gets like, we have a joke, like he has the Disney luck. When we go, like every roller coaster for his first trip, like he got front row. So like his first ride on the Barnstormer, he got front row without asking for it. So his first ride on Slinky Dog, he got front row. Like he has gotten just the Disney luck. I don't even know how else to explain it. He's gotten such great experiences with stuff, you
I
know.
think the force is strong with them.
Oh yeah. And then I've had some great experiences with for myself too at Disney. Like, I mean, we've been so many times, it's almost you have to have good experiences. But we had a situation. I had a surgery when I was 11 years old, and we had taken everybody takes the big Disney trip. We took like 20 big Disney trips, that whatever. So we had taken a Disney trip before my large surgery because it was going to be a big one. So my mother's like, okay, here we go, off to Disney. And at that time in the Wilderness Lodge, they had, I don't know if it was breakfast or what meal of the day it was, but it was Winnie the Pooh and Friends. And Tigger is one of those characters which Tigger's not out as a character in the meals anymore, but he was one of the characters that was in this meal with Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore and Piglet. And he was just like how Stitch is. He causes mayhem. He's another one of my spirit animals, naturally. Um, but we
especially when
have
you need the bounce.
pictures and videos with my dad with the old video camera, the giant thing on his shoulder.
Yep.
Tigger was just causing mayhem this whole time. And he literally grabbed me from the table and picked me up and just started dancing around the entire restaurant. And it was just, it's one of those things that's like seared in my memory because it was such a great experience. I think I was 10 or 11, and it
Hmm.
was just magical. It really is. Like those experiences are what make the difference.
I saw one similar to that, that this was out in Disneyland
Mm,
in Mickey's Toontown, that there was a character greeting thing with Goofy. And
yes.
so he has this little girl that is maybe 2 years old, just tiny, tiny little thing. He gets down on his knees and is like waltzing around with this little
Yeah.
girl that, her feet are on the ground, so he's not holding her. So that, Goofy is, he's tall, all right, close your ears, kids. That I think it's like if Goofy's friends need to be like 6'4" or 6'5".
Yeah.
So that's one of the sad things. I'm a little bit too short for that.
Right.
But someone that big on their knees with a kid that small. And I was walking by and I was videoing stuff. And so I got this on video. So I have proof of it. But I was like, my heart is melting right now that that is just such a sweet thing. And even we were in Disney California Adventure just at the end of Sunset Boulevard there, right by the Carthay Circle Theater or Carthay Circle Restaurant, that
Yeah.
there was a great meeting with Goofy. This was on our first trip with our daughter, who was like 3 years old, and I mean the hugs that she was giving Goofy and the hugs he was giving
Mhm.
back. That it was, I have the camera. It was click 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 click. That like a
Right.
million pictures of that whole process. That is something that I will never forget.
Yeah. Some of the character interactions. And we had Henry's first trip, we only did Magic Kingdom for his first trip to Disney. But the night before, we went to Chef Mickey's for dinner. And we ended up, for some reason, because my mother insisted he had to go to Chef Mickey's for his, dinner with Mickey and meet Mickey. And we ended up getting like an 8 o'clock dinner for some reason at the Contemporary. And because of the time, he was the only child in the restaurant. So every time the dance party came on, all of the characters went right to him. So I have such great videos from that too, because they literally, same thing, took him right out of his chair and were dancing around the restaurant with him, and he just had a blast. It was so cute. Like the cast members and the character interactions, they make your Disney trip. They really do.
And you mentioned about having these experiences so often that you can leave your cast member compliments
Oh,
on the
yes.
Disney app, and there
I
are,
wish they would expand it a little bit too, because my mother always would write to she had some email that she had gotten at some point along the way to somebody in customer service. So she would always write a review email every trip we would come back, and she would say, this is the cast member that was a good interaction. This is the waiter that we had here who was fantastic. Like, they only give you the option to give the person and the location. I would love a spot to give details, and they don't have that. That's the only negative that I see with that cast compliment spot.
yeah, and the old one was a paper compliment that you would go
Yes,
to like
you could go to the
the
desk at the hotel, or you could go to the
City Hall in Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom. I remember going there. Now the problem is I had to wait a while to give it because they were busy the day that I went.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing where the app is nice, but being able to
Yeah.
provide details. That was the thing that he was asking me. Okay, so I was like, all right, I want to leave a cast compliment for this person at this attraction. He's like, can you tell me about it? And
Yeah.
so I got to give description, but that I fully agree that I would like to be able to add details
Mhm.
to explain here is what this person did.
But
Now,
I
although
did speak to somebody recently. They do acknowledge those cast compliments at their daily meetings the next day. So even though you don't get to give details, they do recognize that they've received a cast compliment, which I still love that they've gotten recognized at some point. So every time you give those cast compliments, they know that somebody has said they've done a good job. But again, I really just wish there was a way to give details because I've had interactions just in general with people that they make or break your trip sometimes. They really do, and sometimes they don't have to go out of their way and they do just because that's the type of person they are, you know? So,
yeah, and there our last trip that I left several for each day,
yeah, I do
and
too.
it's
I try
very
to leave them
so
for everybody that I come across now. And I've had trips with my child. I've had multiple like adult only trips where like I'm a grown up. I can sit. I have patience. Not really. But like you would think that as a grown up, like two grown women traveling together, we have more patience than a family with young children. But I've had some phenomenal waitresses and waiters on adult only trips that I would love to be able to leave detailed compliments for, because they've really made a difference. Like the last trip that I was traveling with, I have my travel partner has very severe food allergies, which we've talked about on other podcasts before. But it's nice to see like the chef will come out to your table and they don't have to do that. I mean, I've been in other restaurants where they're like, okay, you have a gluten intolerance, cool, just don't eat this. Like the chefs at Disney will come out to your table and discuss the entire menu with you and make sure that you are comfortable. That just is an extra step that Disney takes with their guests. Like there's just so many examples of that I can provide from all over the resort. I could talk on this for hours.
and
What
we might. So
what a
stay.
surprise.
Yeah, it's things like that, and even just other interactions that as an adult I was in Disneyland by myself, and I
Mhm.
ran into a cast member who was in Disney California Adventure, was in the animation building where they have the Turtle Talk with Crush, and
Yeah.
that's where you can learn to draw and things like that. And it was an elderly gentleman, and he saw that I was alone, and just walking around doing stuff. And this was my first trip, so I was taking all kinds of pictures and videos
Hmm.
and everything. So he, as I was walking by, he said something to me. I came by again later on, and we struck up a conversation. I got on his Christmas card list and ended up getting
Oh, I
Christmas
love
cards from his
that.
family. I mean, and I've gone back every time I've gone back to Disneyland, I have made a point to seek him
Yeah.
out and talk to him to say hi. And so here, first time out there, he's like, we got to talking. He's like, oh yeah, and you've heard of Club 33, right? It's like, yeah, that'd be a dream to go up there. And I did the one behind the scenes tour that we got to go in the lobby, and I was like, oh yeah, we saw the lobby. It was so neat. He's like, would you ever want to go up top? I was like, yeah, that'd be so great. He's like, well, I'm a member of Club 33. I can get you in there. He's like, now the a glass of water is going to cost you $100, but I can get you there.
Yeah.
And of course, at the time, my budget did not allow for
Right.
quite a splurge, so I politely declined. While through tears of
You're like,
one,
oh
tears of
God.
gratitude, twos of
Ooh.
tears of oh no, please.
Right.
Um, but later on, he said, oh yeah, we have this special store the cast members can go to, and you can buy a lot of really discounted
Yes.
stuff. He's like, you want to get, my wife can come pick you up and we can take you there sometime. It's like, oh, I did not go, but there was another time that I was out there
You're
with,
like, ugh.
yeah, I was meeting some friends out there who, the one was traveling, she was spending the summer out there away from her family after her first year of college, stuff like that. And she wanted to buy some stuff for her family to bring home.
Yeah.
I hooked her up with them, and he extended the offer to them that he was
Yeah.
able to take them, and they bought some nice things for a lot less than they would have had to. So, I mean, things along those lines. And even on that first trip out there, I was buying some Mickey ears for some friends of mine. It was an elderly couple that it was like, second grandma, the, second
Yeah.
grandparents type thing that, I'd met, later in life that I worked with the lady, but, she was like as old as my mom. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I go in to, was it Les Chapeaux? No, it was the Mad Hatter in Disneyland. And I go to pick up the ears, and then I'm going to go get them monogrammed. And so I get in line for it, and the one lady comes over and says, or I go to the lady who's doing the monogramming and ask her like, I'd like to get this and this, and she says, "Did you pay for it yet?" I say, "No." She's like, "Okay, you got to go wait in line." And there was a line of maybe five, six people, whatever. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Walked over, get in line. A minute later, she comes over like, "You know what? Come here." And she's like, "I'll take care of you." It's like, "Oh, great." I get the, because she wasn't busy. So she goes and she does it all. And then I take it, I go get in line, I'm going to go pay. She says, "No, don't worry about it." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "No, no, it's on
Mm.
me." I'm like, "Really?" She's like,
Wow. Yeah.
"Yeah, it's your first trip." Because we were talking a little bit and told her
And
it was
they
my
get to
first trip
know
out there.
you. That's what they, then that's how they do that. Yeah.
And yeah, I, told her about the people who I was getting it for and everything. And the husband was a military veteran,
Hmm.
and she was like, "Yeah, have a nice
Great.
trip." I was like, can I, when do you have lunch? Can I take you to lunch? Can I
Right?
repay this somehow? That I was so touched by that.
Uh-huh. We had a great time with experience like that too when we went for Henry's sixth birthday and we had an experience where our luggage got lost, so we didn't have our magic bands. So we're on Main Street in Magic Kingdom, and Henry's like, "Well, Mom, I need a new magic band because it does all these things." And he's like, he's turning 6. And I was like, "Okay, I'll get you a new one for your birthday, right?" So the manager is standing there, and I didn't realize she was the manager. And my child is the chatterbox. So he's telling this woman, "Oh my God, our luggage got stolen. It just got lost. It did not get stolen, mind you. But our luggage got stolen, and I don't have a magic band, and I don't know which one I want. Can you help me pick out which one I want?" And he's getting her going, and she's like, "Oh, well, what do you like? Do you like Star Wars?" And I don't even remember which one he picked out. I think it was a Star Wars one. The child that refused to go into Galaxy's Edge because he's terrified of Kylo Ren picked out a Star Wars magic band. Anyway, but so he picks out a new magic band, and he's like, "Mommy, don't you want one?" I'm like, "No, I have my phone. Like, you have the magic band. We'll use yours and have fun with it. And like, it's fine." So we get up to the register, and she comes running from the other side of the store. "Wait, don't check out." And I was like, "What is happening here?" She gave us the magic band for free. These things are, what, $60? She was like, "Oh no, it's on us. Happy birthday." And Henry's like, "Mom, did we just steal a magic band?" I was like, "No." And she goes, "Mickey said it's for your birthday." And I was like, "Mickey gave us a magic band." For 6 months, he has been talking about the fact that Mickey gave him his magic band for his birthday. Like, this is the way that they make magic. Same thing, like we had talked about, like they must have some sort of dollar amount or like how many times they can gift things in the store if they're a store employee. I don't know what it is, but man, it was like it really made our trip because he was so excited to be like, "Oh my God, I can actually use the magic band." Because like this child had been researching the way that the magic band interacts with everything the whole trip on top of things. So to not have his magic band was devastating.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was very excited to have a magic band and that Mickey gave it to him for his birthday. Let me tell you.
And that's another special thing of it's not
Mhm.
here I'm giving to, it's
It's
Mickey's
Mickey.
giving to. And for a kid that
Oh yeah.
it's, I got friends in high places now.
Oh yeah. So, we had a great trip for not having luggage and having to do a Target run at 9 o'clock at night and do laundry at midnight. That was quite the trip, let me tell you. I've done it all.
And that's why you learn your lesson that the magic band's got to go in the carry-on luggage.
Right?
And mine sometimes gets worn to the airport, but that's a whole
Yeah.
other story. But yeah, it's better than the time that my luggage got lost that it was a close, so flying to Indonesia, flight
Oh
from
God.
Pittsburgh to Boston got delayed. And
Uh-huh.
so we had to get off the flight in Boston and we're pretty much running to the flight to go to Istanbul, where they were going to spend a couple hours before we go to Malaysia, where we're going to spend another 12 hours and go to Indonesia. So yeah,
Oh.
so my daughter made friends with this couple in the airport, and the so it was like an older couple with their son, or with I think it was their son and then his fiance or girlfriend, whatever it was. But the girl was a nanny, so she
Mm.
took to a young girl who's very talkative right away. We get off the plane and my daughter is like, "Can we talk to them and walk with them?" Like, we need to run. So we made it to the plane to go to Istanbul. My luggage didn't. So we get to Malaysia and then we had to get our luggage, change terminals, and then recheck it and everything. I was like, my luggage isn't here. So we got to Indonesia. I had no luggage except like the things I was wearing. And being 6'1" in a country where the average height of a guy is about 5'5" or 5'4",
Yeah.
I got the double XL and things were still a little bit small. So getting luggage lost and having to do shopping in Disney is a whole lot nicer experience.
Yeah, that was the fun part. We get to the airport and he's like, our luggage isn't here. And he's like, oh no, we're gonna have to go shopping for more Disney clothes. And I was like, listen, child, these still cost money. Like, oh,
It's nice when you need to buy a thing or so, but you have to buy, the
right.
whole thing. And depending on how long it's going to be lost, yeah.
Mm. And then it still showed up the next day, and I was like, dude. He's like, but oh no, our luggage is lost. It's not lost anymore. We don't need to buy 20 t-shirts. Like, calm down.
No, I had another experience that it was not
Troublemaker.
me. Yeah.
He's my child, unfortunately. It's all my
I,
own fault.
I had another experience that it wasn't me, that happened to me personally, but this was in Magic Kingdom. I was walking down Main Street and there was a little girl that, again, 1, 2 years old, whatever, in a Snow White dress,
Oh,
sitting on the ground, just as a 1-year-old would do, looking around
yep.
at the ground and trying to pick things up and whatever else. So the photopass photographer is taking pictures of her with the castle in the background. He
Yeah.
then proceeds to lay on his stomach in the middle of Main Street so he can get a better angle with this picture of this little girl dressed like Snow White in front of the castle.
Oh,
Oh, again, another situation where my heart melted. It was like, oh
right.
my God, the picture he's going to get for that little kid's parents, you know, you can still get good pictures just by crouching, whatever, getting down on the
Oh
knee
yeah, no.
on his stomach. I made sure that, I waited till he finished taking the pictures and then he was, in the process of changing for the next person. I got his name and where he was from and made sure to give him a compliment on that
Oh
because
yeah.
that was great.
That's fantastic.
Although you mentioned about leaving comments, sometimes I'm not so sure if that's a good thing because they might be doing something they're technically not supposed to do, and I don't want to get them in
True.
trouble.
Now that you
So,
think about it, yeah. So who knows? But
but on that note, always pay attention to we mentioned this on here before, always pay attention to the name tags for the cast members
yes.
because they have their hometown. You never know where you're going to come across someone who is from your neck of the woods, or
Hmm.
if they're a college program, if they went to your alma mater or the college that's in, wherever you live, or if it's just your favorite team or whatever else that, if you're a Alabama fan, you see someone, University of Alabama, you can walk by them and yell "Roll Tide,"
Right?
something along those lines.
I found people, it's funny because like we'll be somewhere and all of a sudden I'll be like, that's my hometown, or I know where that is. And it's like, huh, yeah,
And Now, the college I went to was really small, Gannon University in Erie, that it's like
Mm,
4,000 students with undergrad and grad. And I've even come across a few students like Gannon, like I went there.
right?
And so it's like, wow. And that's what I'm really surprised about.
Yeah. Well, it's like my mother is from, I think her town, like Main Street is the town. Like it's like half a mile long. And we were there, I don't know how long ago it was. All these trips are starting to get, Um, but same thing. She's like, "Oh my God, you're from Colesville in New York." And the woman's like, "Yeah, I retired and came to Florida." And my mother's like, "Do you know so and so and this and that?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've lived over on that road." And my mother's like, "I know exactly where that is. I lived on this road." Because that's how small the town is there's like
Hmm.
seven roads, you know? And it was just funny that like you find people down at Disney. Although it was even funnier the time my husband and I went on a trip, I dragged him for my birthday, kicking and screaming. And we sit down and at dinner, and he looks behind me and he goes, "Holy crap. It was one of the police officers from our town, also on vacation with his wife." We're like, could we have planned this any better? No.
That reminds me of a trip that we took to Niagara Falls when I was like in second grade. I think it's somewhere between second and third grade. That we're on the one platform thing that overlooks on the American side, that overlooks American Falls, that kind of like juts out. It's like the little tower thing.
Yeah.
And we're, looking around and we're starting to leave. And I hear from behind us, Matt? It was a kid I went to grade school with. It's like, okay.
It's like, yep, that's fate does funny things.
Now, here's the big question about your mom's hometown. Did it have a traffic light?
No,
That says something.
that's
That
how small it is. Yeah.
there was a joke that the one girl who became my sister's very good friend and was a roommate in college for a while, that they were in the same major and everything. So they got to know each other. That she was from a real small town in Clarion, PA, so north central
I kind
Pennsylvania.
of know. Yeah.
That she had a traffic light in her in her town, but it never really worked. They just always had it as a flashing yellow light because they never needed it. Stuff.
Right?
So that was always the big joke of the it just flat the flashing light in her hometown.
It's
That
like
says
in
something about
cars.
size. Yeah.
Every third blink is longer, I swear.
So do you want to share more magical experiences or
Oh God. There's so many. I don't even know which ones I would share. There's just so many. Oh God, we've had room upgrades. I think the best room upgrade we had, we stayed at, oh no, we had a good one at Wilderness Lodge. So my parents, when we went down as kids, we always stayed at Wilderness Lodge. It's just my mother fell in love with Wilderness Lodge, and that's where we always stayed. And we were always in the parks, right? So we never noticed. One night, we were not in the parks, we were in our room, and we heard the fireworks going off. My father opens the curtains, and we had a perfect view of the Magic Kingdom fireworks. We
impressive?
hadn't realized because, we were never in the room.
Yeah.
Now you wouldn't see them because the trees have grown, but back then, you don't realize how close Wilderness Lodge is to the Magic Kingdom because it's not on the monorail. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, line of sight right across
you've got a great
Bay
line of
Lake there.
sight right
Yeah.
across. Yeah.
I had I don't think I actually got an upgrade or anything, but my second trip to Disneyland, I did a split stay at Disneyland Hotel and back then it was Paradise Pier,
Mm,
now Pixar Place Hotel. But the check-in experience was like I've never had that much fun checking into a hotel in my life. That there were two young ladies who were, taking care of me and just their little one-liner, comments to each other and the just how polite they were and everything else, and asking me questions about where you're from, especially because I was coming across the country and everything. That it was like, is So, and I asked them this question. I was like, all right, so whenever you become a cast member here, does the bubbly personality come with the job, or did you have that beforehand? And so, of course, they laughed at that, and they're, again, making me feel good, I guess. But it was just their personality, and that's the type of person that you get who's going to get a
Yes.
job working at a Disney park.
You have to be. You have it's the happiest place on earth, or the most magical place on earth, depending on
Well, in
which
Disneyland, it
coast
was
you're
the
in.
happiest. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a great check-in experience at the French Quarter at Port Orleans. So if you ever pay attention, there's all the small details around Disney. We know how I feel about that. At the check-in desk at Port Orleans, there are musical notes running along the check-in desk.
And of course, we all know about Amanda's musical background. So please continue.
Yes. And they go, "Do you know what song it is?" And I look at her and I go, "I'm a music major. It's When You Wish Upon a Star." So my name is somewhere up on the board of people who actually know what song it is because they make a whole thing and it's a whole, they make a hootenanny about the fact that you know what song it is
And
when you check in.
that's one thing that I am glad that I experienced it back, second grade. I sort of learned to play the guitar
Yeah.
very poorly. All right, I saw Back to the Future and I saw that Michael J. Fox as
And you
Marty
needed to
McFly
be,
played the
yeah,
guitar. So I needed to play the guitar. All
Johnny be
right.
good. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I was, yeah, I was
Yeah.
Johnny B. Bad with playing the guitar, but still. And even with the guy who gave me the guitar lessons was our grade school music teacher. And so
Yeah.
that was one of the things that we covered was how do you read music? And this was just a normal curriculum thing as a youngster that I have no musical talent, whatever, but I at least know, okay, here's how it goes. And I can, know the quarter notes from the whole notes and the rest and everything else. So I can
Yeah.
sort of read music to an extent. So yeah, but I think we can end on that one.
Yeah. Right.
That
It's a fun one. Back
these
when
are
they
great.
used to actually give you beads and stuff. It was fun.
Well, speaking of which, we're recording on the day before Fat Tuesday. So happy Mardi Gras, even though when you're hearing
Oh
this, it's
yeah, it's
late.
Mardi Gras this week. I forgot about that.
Of course, this is airing sometime in March, so
Yeah,
maybe
but
or
it's
April
really
at some point.
gonna be Mardi Gras and Lent and all that fun stuff.
Yay.
Ugh.
So now, everyone else, if you have a destination or experience that you'd like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, or if you'd like to share your favorite place to visit or have a travel tip, feel free to contact me. I'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. Amanda, how can people get a hold of you?
I am on Facebook and Instagram at Dreams by Design Travel with Amanda, or I can be reached directly by email, Amanda at dreamsbydesigntravel.com.
Here at the podcast, we're on Facebook and X at Where Yinz Goin, Yinz Y-I-N-Z, Goin Goin with the apostrophe and the question mark. My email is Matt, M-A-T-T, at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. All this information is going to be in the episode description. So if you want to contact us to book a trip or have any questions, you know how to find us. You don't have to have written that down or have a photographic memory. Although by now, I think you've heard Amanda's contact information enough that you probably have that memorized, just like
Right?
from sheer repetition.
At this point, I'm not easily forgettable.
Now, we're not really doing travel tips and everything on these compilation episodes, but I do have a travel tip. There is the old saying from Wayne Gretzky, who some consider to be the greatest hockey player ever. As a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, Mario Lemieux, but still, he said that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes,
Now, the analogy with Disney is you will never have these magical experiences if you don't go.
correct.
So the only way to get these magical experiences at Disney is to be at Disney.
Hmm.
And as Amanda said, the more you go, the
The
more of
more
these
you
things
get.
you get to experience. So, if you want magic, you got to just go.
Yep.
But thank you, Amanda. We'll have you back again for something.
For everything at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I think at this point, there's really nothing you can't talk about at Disney.
That's true. I've been there, done it all. Well, not all of it yet. I still need to go to Victoria and Albert's. That's on the bucket list. Um,
But yeah, those other episodes when Amanda's not here, it's not that she's not capable. It's just that we're
it's
giving other
just not
people,
my thing. We're
We're
giving
spreading
other people opportunities, really.
exactly.
It's basically, Amanda, you're talking too much. Somebody else needs a turn. That's what happens.
Or where somebody's like, all right, I couldn't get a volunteer and I really want to do this like now and not wait. So Amanda, you're up.
Yeah.
So, all right. Please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. Everyone else, join us next time. We're heading out that. We'll see you later.